Protocol, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I thank their excellencies, the heads of state, for agreeing to come and share with us this joyous occasion in spite of their busy schedule. I also thank the brother countries that sent delegations. Secondly, I congratulate all Ugandans on this occasion of the 60th anniversary of Uganda's independence. It has been quite an eventful 60 years. Naye abaganda tugamba nti ekitata muyima tekimala konte. If a muhima does not die, even if the cattle die, you will always get new cattle. In spite of the numerous problems over these 60 years, Uganda is now standing and marching forward. It is not only Uganda that faced problems. So did many African countries, as the president of Burundi was telling you. That is why, on this occasion, I would like to ask the African political class the following two questions. The two historical questions are, number one, are there professors of economics in Africa? Mbuza, waliwo abasoma ebya enyingiza y'amawanga. That is question number one. Are there professors of economics in Africa? Second question, is the African political class determined to build a Latin America in Africa instead of building the United States of Africa in Africa? This generation, 60 years, what are we building? Are we building a Latin America in Africa or a United States of Africa in Africa? And I'm glad many of the leaders have spoken already on this very issue. They have all spoken on it, the ones who are here. Even by the time we defeated Idi Amin in 1979, our thinking on the philosophical, ideological, and strategic issues was well crystallized. Philosophy tries to understand man and his motivations. Ideology deals with the ideas about the management of society, and strategy deals with the methods used to implement whatever plans you have for society. On the side of philosophy, we had, by that time, by the time we defeated Idi Amin, we had discovered that while there may be some altruistic actors in society, the majority of the people were egocentric. Hence, the wisdom of using the private sector in the economy without banishing completely the use of the parastatals. On the side of ideology, we discovered that in order to create prosperity for our people through the production and sale of goods and services, we need to emphasize the four principles. And these are the principles of patriotism, loving Uganda, Pan-Africanism, loving Africa, social economic transformation, and democracy. In order to use our understanding of philosophy and our ideology to create prosperity for our people, we evolved a strategy of 10 points program. Point number 5 of that program read as follows, in quotes, building an independent, integrated, and self-sustaining national economy, end of quotes. By that time, we had already discovered that one of Africa's problems has been the curse of confining itself to the export of raw materials, where we always get less than 10% of the actual value of the end product out of those raw materials, and the resultant loss of jobs to the cleverer-led outsiders. The outsiders are better led. They take our raw materials, they get more money out of them, and create jobs for their children, when ours are here dying in the ocean trying to go to Europe. The external parasite groups are always interested in perpetuating that hemorrhage of resources and development energies from Africa to other places. What is most infuriating, however, are the comprador bourgeoisie, agents of foreign interests in Africa, who do two things. First of all, they oppose our value addition efforts so as to frustrate our industrialization efforts. Secondly, they are always importing everything from outside, including trivialities like dead people's hair. It is these processes that have stunted Africa's growth. It is a scandal if there were people to recognize real scandals. You hear people talking of scandals, but they are talking about small scandals. This is a mega centuries-old scandal, which I don't hear anybody talking about, many people talking about. The global value for trade in coffee is US dollars 460 billion. The coffee-growing countries of the whole world get only 25 billion US dollars. And wonderful Africa gets only $2.5 billion from a figure of $460 billion. This is coffee. And much of this $2.5 billion, which is coming to Africa because of coffee, is now going to Uganda, because Uganda is taking $800 million of that. Although we are producing a lot of coffee, 8 million bags, but you hear we are still getting only $800 million out of the 2.5 billion that Africa shares from a figure of 460 billion. So you are getting very little money from coffee. How about automobiles, vehicles? The global automobile business is US dollars 2.86 trillion. Obutabalika bubiri kumpi busatu. Africa's share in the manufacture of vehicles is only $30 billion out of 2.86 trillion. And I think this goes to maybe South Africa or something like that. The global pharmaceutical business is US dollars 1.42 trillion. Africa's share is US dollars 16 billion. The global business for furniture, entebe z'okutulako, banange, is US dollars 654 billion. Africa's share is 4.86 billion. Not even 10%. Not even 10%. The global business for textiles is US dollars 1 trillion. Africa's share is US dollars 31 billion. The global business of cereals, kasori, bichebi byonna, maize and all that, 1.3 trillion. Africa's share, 275 billion. The global business for milk is US dollars 308 billion. Africa's share is US dollars 18 billion. The global business for fruits is US dollars 6 to 22 billion. Africa's share, 56 billion. The global business for electronics is 1 trillion. Africa's share is 82 billion. The global business for electrical equipment is 1.5 trillion. Africa's share is 120 billion. The global business for beef, enyama, is US dollars 414 billion. Africa's share, 300 million. Not even 1 billion. Enyama, zente, zabanyankole bamwe bawano. Abaganda nabagamba nti nabo walwente enganda nazuulirako. The global business for fish, 544 billion. Africa's share, 46 billion. It is this that prompts me to ask the question, are there professors of economics in Africa? Of course, it should be the political leaders that should evolve policies about these issues. The question, however, is, if the political actors do not see this hemorrhage, why should the academicians not see it? Are they not supposed to scan the global system so as to what is going on, where and why? Are professors and academicians not supposed to use their knowledge to see what is good or bad for their people? It is a tragedy, I'm telling you. Here in Uganda, we have had to fight the neo-colonial politicians, civil servants, parasitic importing merchants on account of this hemorrhage. Omulumo gwa Africa kusaka. Buli kintu kyonna kya kusaka. Entebe za kusaka. Entebe z'okutuulako. Bagenda ne basaka entebe Dubai. Dubai eddungu ery'omusenyu likola entebe ffe abali mu kibira wano gye tusaka. So we have been through struggle. We have caused vertical integration in some sectors outlined below. Because when we came from the bush, we were clear. We told you, point number 5, build an economy which is independent, integrated, and self-sustaining, exactly solving this problem. but war here within Uganda, opposed by external forces and by internal groups. But still we have moved. On maize, we have moved. We have been able to produce kawunga because we used to get kawunga from Kenya. There was no kawunga here, no maize flour. Animal feeds, and we are targeting starch and ethanol. Milk we have succeeded. Processed liquid milk, ghee, butter, powdered milk, casein proteins, cheese, yogurt. Cotton, textiles, vegetable oil, animal feeds, gunpowder. Africans don't know that gunpowder comes from cotton. Even the scientists at Namronge, where they grow cotton, I asked them, do you know that gunpowder comes from cotton? They didn't know. African market is flooded by dead people's clothes. M30 from the USA and Europe, known as second-hand clothes, thereby exporting money and jobs. Sugarcane, we have been able to produce raw sugar, industrial sugar, ethanol, rum, animal feeds, and electricity. Beef, cattle, we have been able to produce beef, at least we don't import beef. And now we are beginning to produce leather. The other day I opened a leather factory. Fish, we have got 14 factories producing fish fillet. The Nile Perch Mall is being developed as a big export. These factories had gone to 22, but some had to close because of the bad fishing of fishing young fish. Bananas, our scientists have moved on the banana flour, banana starch, banana juice, banana wine, banana gin, eyo mugimanyi ndowooza. Eyo sirina kugyogerako nnyo. Waragi. Waragi oyo bamutegeera bannayuganda. Alcohol sanitizers against corona. Zyatuyamba nnyo. Here we have been having a big war with the political class and the bureaucrats over this banana project. Bananas are good for potassium and carbohydrates, apart from vitamin C in ripe bananas, amenvu. Fruits, fresh fruit exports, fruit juice, teju, we are making teju, teso juice. I gave them this name. They wanted to give it another name. I said, no, you call it teso juice. When you see all these cars which are here, Mitsubishi, I don't know what, Toyota, those are human beings in Japan. So these products of ours should get local names so that we sell our country abroad. So Teju is Teso juice. And the red of Ruero, I will give it a name of Ruero somewhere. I will sit down and give it a proper name. Fruit pulp, I have not heard whether you are producing jam. That one I have not got very well. Sorghum, Muemba, we are now using it for brewing beer. Pines, MT, ceiling boards, furniture. Until recently, furniture for Uganda, including government departments, was being imported from China, India, Dubai, etc. Imagine that. Entebbe obutebe ezo nazo za kusaka. Mama Janet here had to have a big fight in the Ministry of Education, where they were giving tenders to companies in India to supply chairs for schools. And yet we had people here who were making furniture, but they were not being allowed by these wonderful people. Now, gold refinery. We have got a gold refinery. Finally, we are able to fully process gold. But you are not using it. The gold which is processed in Entebbe, you don't use it to make jewelry. You should make jewelry out of that gold. Limestone, cement blocks, pavers, scrap metal, steel bars, mtaimbwa, steel gate doors, used car batteries, recycled batteries, rubber, car and motorcycle tires, PVC plastics, textiles, blankets, palm oil, soap, cooking oil, sesame seeds, cooking oil, soap manufacture, marble tiles, marble. We get marble tiles and sanitary ware. Clay. We are now making industrial ceramics. These were being imported also. You can imagine. Ceramics just for floors of houses were being imported. Until somebody, a Chinese person, so why do you import these tiles? Why not make them here? You've got the best clay here. Granite, pavers, building blocks, tea leaves. There we have got 31 factories, at least, but they need to be improved. These achievements have been in spite of the stiff opposition we have been facing from the parasites and their foreign backers, such as the Monitor newspaper. To take an example, this paper, on the 22nd of May, 2022, it said in quotes, "Coffee deal stinks." That's what they were saying. Nti entegeka zetu lina kumwanyi ziwunya. Bali awo kubanga bwoyogera omuntu akuli mu maaso kiba kirungi. When you talk about somebody who is there, not backbiting him. Coffee deal stinks, but key culprit will not be punished. Key culprit is myself. I am here. I am abundant here. Let me say anankwatako. I am the promoter of the tea, of the coffee value addition. Tewali mulala akirimu Yoweri Museveni. Amanya ga Yoweri Museveni mugamanya amarala ebyo katubireke tulina abagenyi wano. In other words, Museveni is committing a crime by trying to add value to the Uganda coffee. Since 1986, I've been trying to get investors to add value to our coffee. On the 12th of November, 1997, I wrote a letter to the Honorable Mayanja Nkangi to complain about lack of movement on the issue of adding value to coffee. Our farmers, even today, our farmers are paid an equivalent of 70 cents per kilo of low-grade coffee. The same kilogram, when roasted, ground into powder and packaged, it sells for $12.9 in supermarkets. This is the slavery I cannot accept. How can it be that the professors, economics professors of Africa, do not see this? How can it be that the ministries of finance of Africa do not see this? On the 12th of November, 1997, I wrote the following letter to the Honorable Mayanya Nkangi, who was our Minister of Finance at that time. It's a long letter, but maybe you will read it in the paper. But I can read it here. Reference is made to our cabinet meeting of 3rd of November 1997 held in Masaka. In that meeting, I brought to cabinet 3 containers of instant coffee, 1 plastic container with a capacity of 100 grams of blended coffee, Robusta and Arabica, originating from Uganda but processed abroad, was selling at $14. Just 100 grams, not even a kilo. So this letter was saying that at that time, when we get $1